Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This will be bot number 23 from Dubious positions and how to attack them. This is part of a trilogy by Grandmaster Xiangqi and Master Wen. Again, I would like to express my thanks to them. So without further ado, let us begin today's discussion. So the central cannon, screen house defense, third pawn advancement, and this would be the dubious move in uh, Black's formation. Now, the idea behind this move is that Black wanted to develop his chariot as early as possible, so he tried to adopt the three-step tiger formation. This is a good idea because development of the chariot is one of the major issues in Xiangqi. So usually, the player who was able to get his chariot out in the open to attack would usually command some form of advantage. Unfortunately, in this situation, this would be a bad idea. Now, the sound move to play would be to play p3 plus 1 to counter the effects of red's p3 plus 1. And faced with this, red will counter very aggressively with c8 plus 5, attacking attacking black's cannon rank or deployment rank as it is also called in Chinese. Now this will be the position of discussion for this board. There are two main variations, r1 equals to 2 and e3 plus 5. Now before we continue, it would not be a good idea for black to try to alleviate some pressure on his cannon rank by offering a trade of material with c equals to 9, because after trading chariots and trading cannons, red will play p7 plus 1 for the double-headed snake pawns, and his horses are now all ready to go. As can be seen, in comparison, black's horses will have much trouble trying to develop, and red is able to claim an initiative. So let us go to variation A, r1 equals to 2. Black is adamant in developing his chariot and chose to play r1 equals to 2 despite red c8 plus 5. Now this is a very aggressive approach. It's also considered to be a hardline method of play, as black refused to cede or ensure concession. Red would immediately trade material, and he would continue with c2 plus 5 to add more pressure on this flank. Now this is a tight move and it's the recommended move in the book. It would not be a good idea to develop his left flank, because the black chariot would now be out. Black would have realized his intentions of developing the chariot faster than red. Let's say if red tried to push the central pawn forward and link his horses, black would play c8 plus 4 to form a blockade. Let's say red continued. He will then continue with c8 equals to 5 for a counter. Now, so after a few rounds, red would not have gained much for his efforts. So r2 plus 5, red tries to apply some pressure. Black would do likewise with r2 plus 8. And red will now continue to attack with h3 plus 4. Black could defend. This is a preemptive move to protect the horse, so that if the horse charged across the river, black could offer a trade of material. Now it would not be e7 plus 5 would be much better than playing a6 plus 5 for defense, even though black would have the option of playing a central cannon, because red would attack in this manner. Now this horse is basically unprotected, because if the cannon captured, red would play r2 plus 4. So black would still have to play e7 plus 5, but in doing so, red would consolidate his position. He would now have the options of playing h6 plus 4 or c5 equals to 2 to gain material. So black would have a hard time dealing with the situation. That is why e7 plus 5 would be better than a6 plus 5. Now at this point in time, red would also be he would also have to decide on how he would attack. Now the recommended move would be play h4 plus 5, which is a simple no-nonsense approach. h4 plus 6 would not be a good idea because black was now prepared and ready to trade horses. Neither would c5 equals to 2b, because if this move were made without any advisor in the central file, black could place r2 equals to 8. So this would become a very complicated and sticky situation. Red would have a harder time trying to control this situation, although his left flank was free, but anything goes, and black would have his opportunities later on in the game. So that is why h4 plus 5 for a simple no-nonsense approach would be the recommended move. After trading material, trading horses, red would consolidate his defense. And at this point, one chariot pinning one cannon, one chariot pinning one chariot, one horse. So both colors will be pestering each other, but red would have more space to maneuver his material, and red would have the advantage because he could play r2 equals to 6, threaten to checkmate, and this develop his horse, etc. etc. But keeping the pin here would be a good idea. So let us go to variation B, e3 plus 5. Now black would try to consolidate its defense and refuse to trade material. Now this move would imply that black preferred a slower pace to seek stability, but unfortunately his original intentions of developing the right chariot as a file chariot would now come to naught. h8 plus 7, and as can be seen, red would develop his chariot, even though black would be able to develop his chariot as a file chariot. And this would be a congested situation. It is very obvious as to who had the advantage in this situation. Now, at this point in time, it would be better for black to play p3 plus 1 instead of trying to attack with c8 plus 4, because if red were allowed to move the 3rd and 7th pawn for the double-headed snake pawns, his horses would be ready to go. In comparison, black's horses are yoked and limited, so black would also be faced with the uphill task of trying to maneuver his horses and other pieces. So p3 plus 1 is played, and since black did not advance the cannon, red would apply pressure, offering a trade-up. This is a common tactical combination. Black refuses, and red will push the pawn forward to aid in attack. Now, in comparison, if we were to compare both colors, we can see that all of black's major pieces were out of the 6 major pieces, 5 were located on the deployment rank. It's a very congested position, and red's horses are ready to go to attack. So it is even more obvious that red has an even bigger advantage. Now, another thing to note, with c8 plus 5 pinning the cannon rank, black will have much to think about if he wanted to capture the pawn or advance his horse, because this would imply a loss of material very easily. Now, black tries to play c9 equals to 2, which is a continuation of his earlier combination, but red will simply play r3 plus 4. If h3 plus 4, for example, if h3 plus 4, red will simply advance the cannon, chariot to attack the black cannon, and still be able to play p3 plus 1. As long as red is able to play p3 plus 1, black will be all sorts of trouble, and it would be very possible for black to lose material. So it is quite obvious as to who would have the advantage. So now let us review the game in the eyes of black. Okay, central cannon, greenhouse defense, third pawn advancement, and the dubious move. Two major variation. In faced with this, red will counter very powerfully with c+5 to punish black. Now, two main variations, r1 equals to 2 and e3 plus 5. In variation A, r1 equals to 2, black tried to fight back aggressively, but after trading material, applying a pin, we can see that red would have a much easier time ahead. Variation B, e3 plus 5, black sought stability, but in doing so, red would have gained the significant spatial advantage. This cannon will be a thorn in black's formation. So p3 plus 1 is advocated, ca plus 4 is ill-advised. r2 plus 6, as can be seen, red will continue to build up his advantage in terms of space. Black tries a tactical combination, but red would have none of it and continue to charge his pawn across the river. His position will grow from strength to strength. And red was prepared to play p3 plus 1 after the chariot moved to safety and also blocked the elephant. So black will be thrust in a predicament. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up for this video.